I'm Gary Lyon and welcome to Access All Areas. Damien Barrett, I've been waiting a while to say this. What about the D's?
Well, I couldn't foresee one scenario, Gaz, where they could beat the Cats on the weekend, and I'm assuming you couldn't either. Where do you rate it in the modern history of this beleaguered footy club?
I rate it as the longest 30 minutes of my life in the modern history, that last 30 minutes. It's as good a win as I can remember in probably 10 years or more. I mean, you've got to put it in perspective. To go down to Geelong, which has been the venue of some horror crashes over the journey, to go down 300th game for Corey Enright, Jesse Hogan out on the eve, the Great White Hope. So they were magnificent. So proud of the way they played, tough, hard, and some players who have been under scrutiny and much maligned really stood up. And this man looked like Simon Madden, Max Gawn, in the first quarter, Damo. I know you got there a little late to the TV set, but he was doing it all, tackling, taking contested marks. I think he had 5 or 6 in the first quarter and kicking goals. And his ruck worked 7 to zip out of the middle for Melbourne.
Does he need to make this the benchmark for what he does in the future?
Yeah.
I mean, can he do that?
Of course, and he can, because I'll tell you why in a moment. Lyndon Dunn played on Tommy Hawkins, and Tom didn't have a great game, but that would be taking a lot away from Lyndon. He was brave enough to take the front spot, Lyndon Dunn, on most occasions, and took the points, and that's a great result as well. I think Tommy got 2, missed one really important one in the last quarter. And look at this, smashed Angus Brayshaw. He's everything that other Brayshaw we know is not. And this is the next play. Bang. Tough, hard, fearless, and selfless and modest.
You did call him early, and you do like him. He's put himself right up into rising star calculations. We'll look at that closely in a moment. But just the maturity this man shows.
He reads it beautifully, Damo, and his tackling intent is a feature of his game, and then makes great decisions. And the thing I love about young kids when they come into the game, the thing I look for most is how clean they are, and that is, do they fumble or don't they? And he doesn't fumble. And it is a joy to be able to, as a Melbourne supporter, sit back and say there's a 10 to 12-year player.
Just back on to Gawn. This is the new future for Melbourne?
Well, the thing with Max Gawn, we always say with ruckman they take time, and that is truism. Now, with Max, he's had 2 knee reconstructions. For a 208-centimetre bloke, for 2 knee recos at 23 years of age, you've got to give him some time, and hopefully it's a turning point for him.
OK. John Barker's imprint, Gaz, in the 3 matches he's coached as the stopgap coach for the Blues, have been really focusing on tackling. And this was evident throughout this game that they won against Port Adelaide.
Well, you can strip it back 1,000 different ways, can't you? But I remember the criticism of Carlton when they were going poorly was that they weren't doing this, Damo. I mean, it was so blatantly obvious that they either didn't have an appetite or... I know they weren't instructed not to tackle, but maybe they weren't training it, maybe they weren't drilling it, maybe the emphasis wasn't high enough on it. But, I mean, that's the first thing to change. And I think we saw it the first game that John Barker took over, over in
Sydney.
Or up in Sydney, rather. So it was great. I mean, Melbourne supporters had a great weekend, and I reckon for Carlton supporters it would be every bit as joyous.
Some of the tackles heard, which is all well and truly within the rules, but one was outside the rules as far as I'm concerned, guys. This is the Bryce Gibbs one on Robbie Gray. And there's a double motion. There's a tackle and then a sling. And as we know, Robbie Gray, you can see the time on the clock just before half-time, was best on ground at the time, taken off, concussed, not playing again. To me, they have to make a statement, the match review panel, on this, and to me it has to be 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think he's going to get a week. He's going to get time. How much it is up to the match committee, match review panel. But what I'd say on this, Damo, is there are so many areas in footy that are grey and blue, and the rules are there in black and white. But every now and then there's an opportunity to reinforce and stamp your feet. And I don't necessarily think Bryce Gibbs needs to carry the can for that by making a statement via a 5 weeks, for instance. But hand out whatever penalty you see fit, but then make the stand. Say this is not going to go on from this point forward. And it is continually evolving and needs strong leadership. You might have to go upstairs. Yeah,
well, Brad Hill on Bartel in round 1 was overlooked, and it was a slightly different. Hey, Dom Cassisi, former captain of the Port Adelaide team, goes sitting at home watching on TV. It's only taken 8 years for Gibbs to lay a tackle. Well done. Now, he retracted that later on, effectively retracted it later on, but
he's a good lad, Dom Cassisi, good lad, but the bravery that's needed on the playing field is not the bravery needed sitting on the couch. And pretty quickly Dom realised that, and I think he got caught up in the moment. Patrick Cripps, a beauty. We talk about Angus Brayshaw. Cripps is a NAB Rising Star favourite at the moment. And what I'd also love is all those unnamed recruiters who don't ever put their names to anything and come out and say what a balls up they made when they took Patrick Cripps.
You're big on this, aren't you?
Well, I don't ever want to hear a recruiter from another club said this. I heard 6 different recruiters from other clubs say this bloke was a poor pick. I'd like those recruiters to say, yeah, I was one of them and I got it wrong.
He's not a poor pick, is he?
Well,
he's looming as the highlight for Carlton of this season.
Well, again, he's clean, he's tough, and what happens with this, Damo, is that in the first probably part of his career, he wasn't getting game time in the middle of the ground because, you know, Mick would go with different run widths, and I actually don't want to throw lambs to the slaughter, but this is a boy who needs to play. He needs to play in the middle of the ground where it's happening. He thrives on the heat, and unnamed recruiters, tell us what you think now.
Well, tell us what you think when you line up Cripps and Brayshaw, and then Hogan, and I think McCarthy's well and truly in this conversation too when it comes to the Rising Star. I
think it's the best Rising Star race we're going to have for a long time. I don't think there'll be any certainties, any betting plunges, Damo. There's 10 weeks to go, so I think it's still to be won. 10 weeks, I mean...
Now, put it on the line now.
No,
what you've seen for 12 weeks.
So up until now?
Just say now.
I'd have Cripps in front now.
Of Brayshaw?
On the 10 weeks, over there, but just ahead. But Hogan, Cripps, McCarthy...
McCarthy's...
All in the mix. So the next 10 weeks, it's still to be won. I don't know how you could have a $1.80 favourite, if that's what it is.
OK, let's also put it on the line now, guys. This is the top 8 as it stands, and we've basically ruled teams 13 down the ladder out. So teams 9, 10, 11, 12, who could come in and who goes out?
Well, normally at this time of the year we're saying it won't change. I think maybe the Giants go out, cruel by injury and the most important one. And I think Adelaide under pressure for me, Damo. Dogs and North Melbourne to come in. And North Melbourne only play, I think, a very favourable draw. I think they played 2 of 11 coming back in. And the Western Bulldogs only played 2 of the top 8 sides of 11. And I really like the Dogs. So
the Cats stay out?
Well, I think at this stage, They play Adelaide twice in the run home, Geelong, so that's going to be interesting too in terms of 7th and 10th position right there. But like the Rising Star, I think that's going to be a fantastic run home.
You can get injured in a footy game in so many ways, Gaz, but it's not normal to do it before the match even starts, as happened with Drew Petrie and Scotty Thompson clashing here as part of the warm-up drill.
Drew, he's thinking to himself, what sort of day am I going to have? Haven't even bounced the ball, and I'm heading down the race to get the old dreaded stitches. And when the game hasn't started, Damo, you haven't got time to put the anaesthetic in. You just get there and go bang and get them back out again. So you've got to be a little bit careful. Hey, Richmond Footy Club just ran into a pretty hot West Coast Eagles, has to be said.
Reality check for them?
Maybe. Dustin Martin kicked a 50-metre banana goal prior to this and thought, well, I'm going to do it again. And then Brandon Ellis said, well, let me do it. And then Ty Vickery said, oh, I'm as good as them, let me do it.
Why are they doing it, and what has to happen from here?
Brain fades. I mean, that's left foot in every time. I know the game's changed and players are clever, but saw Bernie Vince kick a left footer from outside 50 to ice the game on the weekend, but I don't know what they're doing there.
West Coast went 1 and 2 at the start of the year, 1 win, 2 losses, then lost again to North Melbourne a few weeks ago. But outside that, it's been an extraordinary season. Guys, we have to talk about them as being a premiership chance, don't we, now?
Well, we do, because I think they're going to finish in the top 4, Damo. And I know we're looking a long way ahead, but if they finish in the top 4, you're almost guaranteed a home prelim. And that puts you in the frame. And then you've got McGovern, who's the most interesting player in the competition right now. I think clubs have got to go to put some work into him to make him accountable or somehow quell his influence. And then you've got the leading Coleman medalist and the reigning Brownlow medalist. You've got a pretty fair side, haven't you?
You've said Adelaide's open to falling out of the 8 games. Eddie Betts, good season being put together. Last 2 weeks not great, but is he overacting? I'm not saying on this occasion, because I think Stratton will go maybe be fine for that situation, but does he just maybe carry on a little bit too much? Yeah,
look, he got up. He's OK for that one, Ed, and got back up and then went back down. And I don't know. Look, I mean, trying to get reversals, I don't think in the modern day it wins you any friends. I think Eddie's had a sensational year and is a really good player, but did that really snap your head back?
Didn't seem to.
Didn't seem to. Charlie Cameron went down too, and I mean, I can understand that because you're not expecting an elbow in the guts when your sort of eyes are up the ground. So, not that brave for
unsociable Hawks.
I understand the mentality of what they're trying to do. They're trying to impose themselves. They didn't want to go to Adelaide Oval and be 9 goals to none down again, but you do it in a better way than that. And the worry for them is they'll keep getting fined for these and then they'll go bang out. And you don't want that hanging over your head leading into September, Damo.
You mentioned Charlie Cameron goes there. Celebratory antics after a goal. He's sourced someone from US sport, US basketball. They just watched this goal he kicks. And look at the score, by the way. They're 21 down before he kicks the goal and he's pretty happy, stirring the pot.
All that says to me, and obviously it's from James Harden here, and who's a magnificent basketballer for the Rockets. I'm not sure Charlie Cameron's in James Harden's category. What's this kid's name?
Callum McFadden, his name is. He plays for the ACT.
Come on, Cal.
What's he doing?
He's stirring whatever it is as well. It just says to me that players are going in thinking about other things other than, just get the job
It's not
done.
an instinctive
I know
reaction to a goal.
I know what I'd be saying.
Did you ever celebrate a goal?
I was playing on Charlie Cameron. I know what I would have been saying.
Look at the scoreboard.
Well, all night I would have been.
Did you ever celebrate?
Of course.
What'd you do?
Nothing like that. Probably just a hand in the air, Damo, ruffle the feathers.
Third man up in the ruck. It's an issue. The AFL's looking at it. Clubs are trying to work ways around it. This is the best way to do it, guys. Fake an injury, Mitch Robinson, Brisbane Lions, and look, bang. There's nothing wrong with him. And the umpire can do nothing about that.
That's lateral. That's lateral and intelligent.
Intelligent
and
football.
Smart. All things that I don't think have been used in a sentence with Mitch Robinson before. And I say that with the tongue in the cheek, Mitch. Well done. Umpires also... Common sense, I'm sending you upstairs for this one.
Oh, yeah.
Going straight to see our man up there. This is 99.
Yep.
Peter Carey.
A little bit of me about that one, Gus.
No.
Yes, there was.
No, it wasn't.
He didn't have to mark it.
He's an accident warrior. He got caught.
This is an accident. This is Brendan Hosking on the weekend.
Oh, in the modern era.
That's an accident.
Go up and see Evo and say, throw the ball back and kick it again.
So no problem with what Hosking did there. Just give it back to Hartlett as opposed to ball it up. Is that what you're saying?
It cost them a goal in the end. The clearance came out and they went down the other end.
So change the rule on that.
Look, I don't know. I just would think common sense goes, yeah, sorry about that. And do you reckon the Carlton supporters would have been up in arms?
No.
Of course not, Damien. Go and sort that out.
I'll go up.
All right, very nice work. Thanks for watching Access All Areas. Going very nicely too, giving that Friday morning show smashing. We'll see you next Monday. Goodbye.